People with amazing memories have always made me envious. You know, the ones who manage to acquire encyclopaedic knowledge with seemingly no effort, while the rest of us can't recall the name of the person we just met. However, there is hope for all of us. We can train our brains to recall more and learn things faster, just like any other muscle in our bodies. You don't have to be born with a photographic memory to be successful. It's as simple as trying out new memorizing techniques or making certain lifestyle changes. Here are some of the best memory boosting methods and tricks for both the short and long term. Welcome to The Amazing Facts. Stay tuned. Top 10 Memory Improvement Tips. Subscribe to our channel for more videos. The science of memory. Let's start with a discussion of how memory works so we can grasp the science underlying these memorizing strategies. You're not alone if memory, or how our brains create and recall memories, seems strange. For at least 2,000 years, scientists and philosophers have been attempting to figure out how human memory works, and they're continually making new findings. For example, British scientists earned the world's greatest prize for neuroscience in 2016 for their work on memory, which included the identification of a protein in the brain that plays a critical role in memory development and loss. There's still a lot to learn and discover. Even so, we do know that memory processing is divided into 3 phases or steps: encoding, storage, and recall. Encoding. Encoding is the initial stage in forming a memory. It occurs when your brain consciously perceives the sounds, sights, bodily sensations, or other sensory aspects involved in an event, or when you come across a piece of information. Take your first trip to Las Vegas, for example. Your visual, oral, and maybe olfactory systems all contribute to your recollection of that event. Semantic encoding is the process of assigning meaning or factual information to sensory data. You're encoding the Bellagio Resort and Casino in Vegas with semantic memory if you identify it with its location on a map, or the information that the dancing fountain show takes place every 30 minutes. This is important to know since studies show that when we link meaning with things using semantic encoding, we remember them better and keep them longer. Storage. All of these small bits of information are stored in various parts of your brain. Your neurons communicate with each other by sending signals regarding what you saw, thereby talking to each other and forming either transient or long-term connections. Neuroscientists believe that memory is formed by brain activity and the strength of those connections. Short-term and long-term memory are the 2 types of memory. Short-term memory serves as a scratch pad for your brain. It occurs when your brain temporarily stores information before discarding it or moving it to long-term memory, such as remembering what you want for lunch before phoning the takeaway place. Your brain may let go of that information once your food has been delivered and eaten. Long-term memories are those that you remember for a few days or many years, such as learning to ride a bike or having your first dinner with the person you love. Both types of memories can deteriorate with age as the brain loses cells that are crucial to the connections between neurons. Although this isn't always the case, you can exercise your brain in the same way that you can exercise your muscles. With memory, it's use it or lose it. Recall. Finally, in order to retrieve a memory, your brain replays or revisits the neuronal pathways that were built when the memory was generated. Recalling material over and over helps to build those connections and memories, which is why tactics like rereading your notes or utilizing flashcards can help you remember things. However, because your personal awareness of the current circumstance is mixed in with the recollection, it is not an exact replication of the first time you experienced an event or came across a truth. According to the human memory, memories are not static, and with time, new information and suggestions may be blended into old ones. As a result, remembering might be viewed as a form of creative reimagination. That's why people might have false recollections or have their memory of events shift over time. Now that we have a better grasp of how memory works, we can use it to improve our memory. We'll begin by discussing lifestyle modifications that can benefit more than simply our memory, and then move on to particular memorizing strategies. Changes in your lifestyle that can help you improve your memory. In general, improving your overall health via better sleep, frequent exercise, and better diet can benefit both your mental and physical health, including memory. These three items will offer you the most bang for your money in terms of reducing memory loss and general memory improvement. Sleep on it. Here's a simple approach to improve your memory. After learning anything new, get a good night's sleep or a power nap. According to one study, those who slept for 8 hours after learning new faces and names were better able to recall them than those who did not. In a study of 2 research datasets, psychologist Nicholas Dumay discovered that sleep not only protects our brains from forgetting memories, but it also improves memory retrieval. Get moving. The other pillar of health, exercise, is just as vital for your physical and emotional health as sleep is. Our brains need oxygen to operate correctly, and in order to obtain oxygen, we need a steady supply of oxygen-rich blood. Exercise increases the flow of blood to the brain. Aerobic activity, such as running, has been related to enhanced memory, according to researchers at the National Institute on Aging. This type of exercise raises levels of a protein called cathepsin B, which goes to the brain and stimulates neuron development and new connections in the hippocampus, a brain region thought to be important for memory. Mice, monkeys, and 43 sedentary university students who were pushed to become in shape for the study were used in the tests. Those who improved their memory the most were those who had the highest rise in cathepsin B following physical activity. However, don't put your running shoes on just yet. It may be beneficial to wait after studying or learning something new. Exercising 4 hours after learning may be more beneficial to memory than exercising right after. Scientists ensure why postponing exercise is more helpful than exercising right away. But it's possible that our brains require time to process new information before engaging in a brain-boosting activity. Improve your diet. With all of this advice, we don't want to come across as your mother or doctor, but here's the final lifestyle recommendation. Eat more healthily. You probably guessed it, but saturated and trans fats, the sort found in red meat and butter, have been linked to memory loss. Cholesterol can build up in your brain just as it might in your heart's arteries. According to Harvard Health, cholesterol plaques build up in brain blood arteries and can cause damage to brain tissue, either through minor blockages that cause quiet strokes or bigger, more catastrophic strokes. Brain cells are deprived of the oxygen-rich blood they require to operate correctly in either case, which can impair thinking and memory. Numerous studies have connected Mediterranean diets, which consist mostly of vegetables and fruit, olive oil, seafood, and nuts, all of which are high in healthy unsaturated fats, to improve memory and decreased rates of memory loss. Specific memory practices, in addition to leading a healthy lifestyle, will assist you recall specifics of whatever you're studying. Any technique or technology meant to improve memory, typically patterns of letters, concepts, or associations, is referred to as mnemonics. Here are 10 most common and helpful tips. Number 1. Patterns. Looking for patterns is a great method to recall a huge number or phrase. Here's an easy example. The number looks to be random until you find it has a pattern, at 5, then 2, and so on. You just need to remember the first number in the series once you've figured out the pattern. This is a good technique to come up with a numeric password that varies frequently. Number 2. Associations. This is a fantastic technique for learning numbers. You identify bits of the number with a term that has some relation to it in this system. Consider the following scenario. Make a connection for each sequence by dividing the number in half. This can result in a list like this: Jumbo Jet 747, Xbox 360, deck of cards that is 52, James Bond 007, days in a year that is 365. This strategy may be utilized for easy-to-remember passwords once again. Try to envision a setting that includes all of the elements to help you remember them. For example, you may see a calendar with a photograph of James Bond playing poker on his Xbox on a private 747. Sounds weird, but it works. Number 3. Alphabetize. We're all familiar with the alphabetization system. We see it in phone books, internet directories, and a number of other places on a daily basis. Put your terms in alphabetical order if you have a list to remember. Start with one state per letter if you wish to memorize a big list, such as the states of the United States. Go back and add another state for each letter once you've learned that. Repeat until you've memorized the entire list. You'd be astonished at how much more effective this is than attempting to recall the entire list all at once. Number 4. Categorize. In some ways, alphabetizing is similar to classifying, but this approach allows you to go much farther. If you have a long list of things to remember, look for patterns and put them together. Consider the following example of a shopping list. Now, reorder them into categories and we have this. Number 5. Chunking. We all utilize chunking as a means of remembering information since it is so effective. Phone numbers are the finest example. When we are given a phone number to remember, we break it down into chunks, generally an area code, 3 digits, and 4 digits. This isn't because it's expected. It's because it's the most efficient way of remembering such random numbers. Long sequences, such as pi to n digits, can also be remembered this way. You can easily memorize pi to multiple decimal places by adding 4 more digits to your daily routine. This is perfect for a party trick. Number 6. Images. This is the most efficient method of remembering someone's name. Imagine John Key with a large key in the center of his face if you meet him. You can try to recall a hamburger patty covered in wads of cash if you encounter someone named Patty Grant. Another option is to make a connection between this person and someone you know. Envision them shaking hands or standing next to one another. Number 7. Visualize. This is a very ancient technique of memorization called loci. This strategy involves visualizing a location and placing the items you need to remember in a different portion of the space. Cicero, the legendary Roman statesman, once said, "A great number of locations must be well lit, clearly laid out in order, at moderate intervals apart, and pictures that are lively, sharply defined, uncommon, and have the potential of quickly encountering and piercing the mind must be used. Put each vegetable in a separate part of the room if you need to memorize a list of veggies. Move your mind around each position in the room and see what you put there when you need to recollect the list. If you find this one particularly useful, you may make it even more so by adding more levels to your location." Number 8. Story method. This one might be a lot of fun. Make up a tale in which you incorporate all of the information you need to remember. The tale might be completely absurd. Let's say you need to remember to buy a bucket, a dozen apples, a hairbrush, and some kitty litter. You might make a story like this. After Jane emptied the kitty litter from Felix's dirt box into the red bucket, she gave him a good brushing with his new hairbrush while she ate an apple for lunch. It isn't the most exciting or innovative narrative, but it may be incredibly helpful in remembering your to-do list. Number 9. Mnemonics. A mnemonic is a word or a brief phrase that acts as a key to the remainder of the information, allowing you to remember it. If you learned music as a youngster, you may recall the phrase, "Every good boy deserves fruit," which is EGBDF, in which each syllable represents a note on a musical staff. You were probably also given a mnemonic to recall the rainbow's colors as ROYGBIV. Another slight variation is to use a phrase, "Desert and dessert, the sweet one has 2 sugars." We also use this to remember daylight savings time, spring forward, fall back. Number 10. Senses. If you need to recall a word, use your other senses to help you remember it. For example, if you need to remember to buy soap, conjure up an image of soap and visualize how it smells while doing so. You may utilize your other senses in the same manner. For example, to remember to buy an alarm clock and to recall the sound it makes when it goes off in the morning. Although memory is still a mystery to us, research has shown that using the tactics listed above will help you recall more of what you learn. I don't have a photographic memory and still have trouble remembering where I put my keys, but when I use at least one of the tactics above to commit anything to memory, it seems to remain. At the very least, I've had less instances of "what's your name again?" To help you strengthen your memory, you can utilize any or all of the items on this list on their own or in combination with the others. The more you put these suggestions into practice, the better you will become. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe our channel for latest notifications.